Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Premanande Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirhayat Nasta Praeshu Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter number 24, text number 76, right? Okay. Yaimam Shradaya Yukto Mam Gitam Bhagavat Stavam Adiyano Duraradyam Harim Aradhayati Asyo Yaimam Shradaya Yukto Madgitam Bhagavat Stavam Adiyano Duraradyam Harim Aradhayati Asyo Ya Imam Shradaya Yukto Madgitam Bhagavat Stavam Adiyano Duraradyam Harim Aradhayati Ashao.
Imam Sadaya Yukto Imam Sadaya Yukto Idam Bhagavastavam Madhitam Bhagavastavam Adiyano Duraradyam Harim Maharadayati Aso Yamimam Sadaya Yukto Madhitam Bhagavastavam Adiyano Duraradyam Harim Aradayati Aso Ya Imam Sradaya Yukto Ya Imam Sradaya Yukto Madhitam Bhagavastavam Madhitam Bhagavastavam Adiyano Duraradyam Harim Aradayati Aso.
Marriages, anyone?
Ya Imam Sradaya Yukto Madhitam Bhagavastavam Adiyano Duraradyam Harim Aradayati Aso.
Hindu?
Ya Imam Sradaya Yukto Madhitam Bhagavastavam Adiyano Duraradyam Harim Aradayati Aso.
Yeah. Anyone. Imam. This. Shraddhaya. With great faith. Yukta. Devoutly attached. Madgitam. The song composed by me or sung by me.
The song composed by me or sung by me.
Bhagavad-stavam. A prayer offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
A prayer offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Adhyana. By regular study. Duraradyam. Very difficult to worship. Harim. The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Aradayati. He can, however, worship him. Also, such a person. Translation. Although rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worshipping Him are very difficult, if one vibrates or simply reads this stotra or prayer composed and sung by me, he will very easily be able to invoke the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is Lord Shiva speaking. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is especially significant that Lord Shiva is a pure devotee of Lord Vasudeva. Vaishnavam yata Shambhu. Amongst all Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva is the topmost. Consequently, Lord Shiva has a sampradaya, a Vaishnava disciplic succession, called the Rudra Sampradaya. At the present moment, those who belong to the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya of Vaishnavas come from Rudra, Lord Shiva. To become a devotee of Lord Krishna, Vasudeva, is very, very difficult. The word especially used in this connection is Duraradyam. The worship of the demigods is not very difficult, but becoming a devotee of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, is not so easy. However, if one adheres to the principles and follows in the footsteps of the higher authorities, as advised by Lord Shiva, one can easily become a devotee of Lord Vasudeva. This is also confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj. Devotional service cannot be practiced by a mental speculator. Devotional service is a special attainment which can be acquired only by a person who has surrendered unto a pure devotee. As confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj, Mahiyasham padarajo bhishekam niskinchananam navrinita yavat. Unless one accepts the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who is free from all material contamination, one cannot enter into the devotional service of the Lord. Bhagavatam 7.5.32. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmilitanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sindhu, are you going to translate a little bit for them? Huh? Yeah, Shesha. Alright, so Lord Shiva had been he'd been teaching this song, the song of Lord Shiva. He'd been teaching this to the prachetas to help them to become self-realized. So, Lord Shiva himself says, actually devotional service to the Supreme Lord is not easy. To worship the Supreme Lord is very difficult. Prabhupada often said to us, it's not an easy thing to become a Vaishnava. We are trying to become Vaishnava, but it is not such an easy thing. It's very difficult. And Srila Prabhupada said, worship of the demigods, however, is quite easy compared to worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Worship of the Supreme Lord requires surrender. We have to give up a lot of attachments, and we have to give up all of our nonsense activities. But you worship the demigods, you can do all kinds of nonsense, right? They do all kinds of nonsense and they worship the demigods at the same time. And demigods are easily pleased. Just like Lord Shiva is also known as Asutosh, meaning he can be easily pleased, but he can also be easily angered as well. So that there are some difficulties, some problems there. You have to be careful. If you upset Lord Shiva, then it will not be very good. But if you can please him, certainly you can get a lot, you can be successful. And we see materialistic people who worship Lord Shiva, they can be very successful materially. They can have opulence. But of course they're not free from the modes of nature. And they're often angry and they're often irritable and they're often sinful, but they may be devoted to Lord Shiva. So worship of the Supreme Lord is, Lord Shiva is saying, very difficult to worship him. To worship him properly is very difficult. We have to understand how Lord Krishna wants us to completely surrender to him, to give up all of our dharmas. He says, Sarva dharmam parigyashna. Give up all of your occupational duties and just surrender to me. We give up all of these different dharmas which we have in the material life. To actually worship the Lord, we have to be, to worship him with pure devotion, it requires giving up all of our different designations. Rupa Goswami describes devotional service, sarvupadi vinirmuktam. Upadis mean designations. So in the material world, there are so many different designations. We designate ourselves, somebody designates himself as a Brahmana. We designate ourselves even sometimes as Vaishnava. We designate ourselves in these different ways. But actually we have to give up these different designations. Sarvupadi vinirmuktam tat paratvina nirmalam. Rishikesha rishikena sevanam bhaktir uchate. We should simply use our senses in the service of the Supreme Lord. So that is required, means everything, all of our different activities of the senses, they should be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. That is proper worship of the Lord. Of course, it's not an easy thing to do. Not an easy thing to dedicate everything in the service of Krishna. And we have so many conditions in the form of our attachments to the material world. And Lord Krishna wants us to completely surrender to him, to take full shelter of him. So it's difficult. Rupa Goswami also describes devotional service, Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karma janavritam anukuyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttamam. That pure devotional service is anukuyena krishnanu shilanam. It has to be completely dedicated to Krishna. Nothing else, nobody else. Just to Lord Krishna and his worship should be Anya vilasita sunyam jnana karma janavritam. It should be performed without desire for any gain. It shouldn't be a fruitive activity. In the material world, everybody is fruitive. We want to know, what will you give me? What will I get if I do this? You know, we're interested to know, what am I going to get out of it? So materialistic people have a lot of ambitions and goals, and they won't take up devotional service because they know devotional service is not going to reward them materially. Rather, Krishna says he may even take away everything from them. He may take away all the things which they value, their attachments. Lord Krishna, of course, says, this is my special mercy. Harishyeta dhanam shanai. When I am very merciful to someone, I take away all of their attachments. And in that helpless condition, then they surrender to me. So Prabhupada had experience like that. He had, of course, he was doing business for some time and it failed, and he was not able to provide so well for the family as he'd been doing previously. So the family became disappointed that, oh, our father is not giving us the same things which he used to give us. And Prabhupada saw that the situation at home was no longer the same. There was no respect anymore for him as the head of the family, because he was not providing for them. So he understood it was time to leave home. So he said, Krishna took away one family, but in course of time he got a better family, a bigger family. So Prabhupada said, in devotional service sometimes it's like that you give up some less valuable thing to get something which is much better. You give up a little family, but you get a big family with a home. Instead of having one little house in Calcutta, you get homes all over the world. And instead of just having a few children who don't love you very much, you get many children who are all love you much more than your own family members. So you give up something to get something better. So devotional service is like that. Of course, it's not very easy to do these things. We're very attached, and we have a lot of affection for these different things. But Krishna wants us to develop pure love, not love which is in the modes of nature. Devotional service in the modes of nature is not so satisfying to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna wants pure loving devotion. So Lord Shiva is describing like that devotional service can be very difficult. But then he said, if one vibrates or simply reads this prayer, which Lord Shiva himself has composed and which he had sung, then he can very easily get the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very easily, Lord Shiva says. So one way the path is very difficult, but the other way is very easy. What is the difference? The difference is that by going through Lord Shiva, by the mercy of a devotee, it becomes easy. But if you try to approach Lord Krishna himself directly, very difficult. Devotional service, in Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami describes different characteristics of devotional service. Right? There are 3 levels of devotional service. There's Vaidhi Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. Right? And now with Vaidhi Bhakti, then the characteristics are, first of all, takes away all distress, relief from all distress, and the beginning of all auspiciousness. And then the characteristics of Bhava Bhakti is that the happiness surpasses liberation. And what's the other one? Huh? No, but there's 2 characteristics of Bhava Bhakti. One is the happiness of Bhakti, of Bhava Bhakti surpasses liberation, and the other thing is no, that's something else. Anyway, and then there are 2 characteristics of Prema Bhakti, and the 2 characteristics of Prema Bhakti is it's the only means to attract Krishna, and it's very rarely achieved. It's very rarely achieved, very difficult. And Prabhupada explains why it's so difficult. He said because Krishna is going to give himself to that devotee. Krishna becomes the property of his pure devotees. Krishna had to become the messenger for Maharaj Yudhisthira. Maharaj Yudhisthira wanted to send a letter to Maharaj Yudhisthira he wrote a letter to Dhritarashtra before the battle of Kurukshetra, that he wants to try to avoid the battle. And he had Lord Krishna go and deliver the letter to Dhritarashtra. And it was at that time Duryodhana tried to arrest Krishna. So Lord Krishna was obligated to do that service, to be like a peon, to deliver the mail for Maharaj Yudhisthira. And Lord Krishna had to become the charioteer for Arjuna. So charioteer, to be the chariot driver, that's the Sudra position. So Lord Krishna had to take these low positions for the service of his devotee, to become the messenger and to become the driver for his devotees. So Lord Krishna only does that for very special devotees. And that's why he does not give pure devotional service so easily. Because he becomes purchased by those devotees. He becomes controlled by them. Lord Krishna is the supreme controller, but he is controlled by the pure love of his devotees. So he makes it very difficult to get pure love. But the devotees are more merciful than Krishna. The pure devotees, and Lord Shiva is a pure devotee. Prabhupada quotes in the purport that Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. So Lord Shiva, he can give devotional service. He can give pure devotion. He can do it. Why? Because he has it. He has pure devotion, so he can give it to others. We want to get pure devotion, we have to get it from the person who's got it. They can give it. So Lord Shiva is describing here, you can get that pure devotion. You sing this song, which Lord Shiva has sung, and he's giving it. He's saying, you sing this song, very easily you can get it. So Srila Prabhupada quotes this one verse in the purport from Prahlad Maharaj, because Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad, had been asking Prahlad, where did you get this devotion from? Because Hiranyakashipu had been so careful to avoid, he wanted his son should not get any association with devotees. He didn't want his son to become a devotee of Vishnu. So Hiranyakashipu had put his son into the Gurukula for the demons, to avoid the association of devotees. Just like people put their children into demonic schools and colleges just to get material education. They could put them into the Krishna conscious community to become devotees, but instead they put them into slaughterhouses, the mundane educational institutes, at great expense. They will spend so much money to put their children into mundane educational institutions, to become Sudras, to become demoniac. They could put them into the Krishna conscious community to become devotees, but they think, oh, that would not be very good, you know. People would not think that's very good. So anyway, Hiranyakashipu was like that. He put his son Prahlad into the materialistic Gurukula with all the other children of the demons, to associate with them, to become a demon. But then, when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad what had he learned from his time in the Gurukula, then Prahlad told his father, I have learned that the best thing, the most important thing in life is Shravanam Kirtan Vishnu, Smaranam, like that. And Hiranyakashipu blew his top. He got really angry. Oh no, how is this? I put you in the Gurukula to learn how to become a good materialist, and you're telling me worship Vishnu. Oh no, he's the enemy of our family. How is it that you have become like this? So Hiranyakashipu was asking his son, how is it, where did you get this devotion from? And Prahlad Maharaj says, Matirna Krishne Parata Svatova Vivo Vipadyeta Greha Vratanam Adanta Govir Vishatam Tamijram Punas Punacharvita Charvananam. Prahlad Maharaj is replying to Hiranyakashipu. He is saying that, he's saying to his father, there's no way you'll ever become Krishna conscious. He's saying, you don't have to worry, you'll never become Krishna conscious. Because you've made the vow to Greha Vrat. You've made that vow to remain in the well of your family life. So there's no way you'll ever become Krishna conscious. He said, it doesn't matter if you have if you try to do it yourself, or if you try to get association from others, you're going to remain chewing the chewed. Punacharvita charvananam. You're going to remain chewing the chewed. You're not going to get the Krishna consciousness, because you're so determined to stay in that well of family life that you've made that vow. But then Prahlad Maharaj went on to explain that the only way you can get Krishna consciousness is you have to take the dust, you have to get the dust from the mercy of the devotees. And Prabhupada quotes that verse from Prahlad Maharaj that Anugrahat, right? Mahisham padarajo bhishekam niskinchananam yavriniti yavat. Mahiyasham padarajo bhishekam. You have to bathe the dust of the feet of the devotees. In other words, you have to get the mercy of a devotee. Of course, foolish people think you just come and take the dust, touch their feet, and everything is done. That is not the proper thing. The proper thing is to get their mercy, to take up the service for the pure devotees, to become engaged in their service. Then you get the mercy of the devotee. People come and they touch the feet of the devotee and they give their sinful reactions to him, and then they go off and they continue to perform more sins. And they do more sins and more, and they never change. And they think, oh, I'll go and touch the feet of another great devotee, I'll give him my karma, and then I'll continue with my sinful life. So that is their thinking. But the real mercy, the dust of the feet of the devotee means to serve them, to serve the devotee. Prabhupada said, you want to touch my feet? He said, better you bring me my slippers. Because to just touch the feet, that is not the real, that's not the meaning. What you have to do is do service. So Prabhupada is saying, bring me my slippers. That is some service, you're doing something practical. But if you just come and touch the feet, you're giving your sinful reactions away. Oh, that is not very good, just to give your bad karma to somebody else. And then you go on and continue with your sinful life. That is not the point. We have to give up sinful life. If you want to give up sinful life, we have to be engaged in practical activities. It's not just giving up sinful life. You have to replace sinful activities with devotional service. We have to be active in devotional service. And that way, then we can protect ourselves from sinful life. If we're not engaged in chanting and hearing and doing service for Krishna, then we'll be serving Maya, and we'll be chanting and hearing about Maya. The chanting and hearing will go on, but it will be contaminating. You'll be watching Bollywood movies and Tamil movies. You'll be going to cinema and hearing disco. You'll be associating with all the non-devotees. And you'll become also a materialistic sense enjoyer, like everybody else. But if we associate with the devotees and stay with the devotees, then we'll be chanting about Krishna, and we'll be hearing about Krishna. We'll be engaged in devotional activities. We will be protected from Maya. So that is the real mercy of the pure devotees, to get the association of devotees and to be engaged in practical activities for the pleasure of Krishna. We're having this big temple, we're having this society of Krishna consciousness. It is meant to engage people in Krishna consciousness, that they can be fully occupied. Just like Radha Krishna Kanaya have come here so that we can be engaged in their service. There's so much to be done for their pleasure. And we have to invite the public also to come and to take part in their worship and to hear about devotional service. So that then it becomes easy. If once you follow, when you get the mercy of the devotees. But who wants the mercy? Not everybody wants the mercy. We had this one devotee, she took prasadam home and she told her husband, I brought you some prasadam. He said, it's okay, I don't want to get purified. So some people are like that, you know. You try to give them prasadam, I don't want to get purified, I know you're prasadam, you know. And so what can you do? We say you can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make it drink, right? And so we try our best to distribute Krishna consciousness. We don't know who will accept. Those who are fortunate souls, they will accept. Those who are fortunate, we can become fortunate. Take the mercy of the devotees. Take up Krishna conscious activity. And the unfortunate souls, then they will remain chewing the chewed. Punas punacharvita charvananam. Chewing what is already chewed. There is no more taste. Just like, I don't know, when we were kids at the school, we used to chew chewing gum, and after you chew it, you stick it under the table. Yeah. and sometimes somebody will come along, they'll take the gum from under and they'll chew it again, you know. You already chewed it yesterday.
You also they do,
Huh?
You also they do.
Really? Yeah, and all over the world, the same thing. So that is chewing the chewed. You know, there's no taste in it anymore, but still you want to chew it. You know. So material life is like that. We're trying to enjoy the material world, chewing what is already chewed. There is no pleasure anymore in these things, but still people are doing. They go to club, go drinking, go socializing, go gambling, play poker, play mahjong, so many different things, play football, play so many different activities. It's all just chewing the chewed. There's no pleasure there. The pleasure of the soul is waiting to come, to manifest. And to get that pleasure of the soul, we have to take up devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting. We have to stay in the association of devotees. We have to want to be in that association, and that will protect us from all this material world. The bright lights, the attraction of the material energy, very powerful. But Krishna is more powerful. It's all Krishna's energy. For the devotees, they can go anywhere and be engaged in Krishna consciousness. Even if you go to heaven, it becomes hell without Krishna. But if you go to hell and you're a devotee, it becomes like heaven. The devotee can go anywhere and practice Krishna consciousness. So I had the opportunity to go to Europe this year. I went to one place in Belgium, Radha Desh. Oh, it's so a beautiful place. And you go inside and it's, wow, it's just magnificent. It's like a palace. It's just incredible. It's really the spiritual world, you know, really beautiful place. And the devotees are living there, worshipping the deities. They have a beautiful temple room. And big place, and many people come and visit. And they have forest around it as well. They have the Goshala. Very wonderful project, beautiful place. Of course, the devotees had to work very hard to develop it. And they put in a nice heating system, because in the winter it can be cold there. They put in a nice heating system, they have hot water. And they're growing also, they're cultivating the land, growing vegetables and flowers and so on. So, it's such a tribute to Srila Prabhupada, and you know, we have to appreciate the efforts of the devotees, how they must have worked so hard to put up the magnificent, well, Radhadesh, that temple, that place, it's like 1,000 years old. It has a history of like 1,000 years old. It's a very ancient place, but they've restored it magnificently and they've preserved it in the original manner. And I was in another place in Holland, and it's like here. They have an area of land in the city where they have different religious institutions. And there was one Sikh temple, and there was another, what was it? I can't remember, Christian or something. But we have also one land there too. And the devotees have built the temple there. So it's not opened yet, but nearly open. They've been working on it for quite a few years now. It's almost ready. Maybe this year it will open. So I was telling them how in Malaysia we have also land in a religious sector. And so, and in some places also, like it was in Belgium, the government are giving money, like Radhadesh is in Belgium. So they've been trying for years to get money from the government, but the government said, no, Hinduism is not part of our, it's not for our government, you know, this is a Christian country, you know. But finally, you know, that last year, the government recognized that, okay, you know, we'll give something. And they got quite a substantial amount from the government for certain projects, for the temples which they have there. So gradually, you know, things are developing. People are becoming more appreciative and more respectful for the Krishna conscious tradition and the culture. So, Prabhupada said, in the beginning they would hate us. In the beginning they would laugh at us, and then they would hate us, and then finally they would join us. So we hope gradually people will also join. Okay, any questions, comments? No, but they're not saying to worship Shiva. Lord Shiva is saying, sing the song which I sung, Lord Shiva had composed a song to worship Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva is saying that you should sing this song. He's not saying you should worship Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is not saying worship me. He's saying worship Vishnu. Lord Shiva is the Vaishnava. No, Hutoe. It's not like that. It's not that you worship Lord Shiva because it's Shiva Sampradaya. All the Sampradayas teach that Vishnu and Krishna are the supreme, and that we should that Vishnu and Krishna is the supreme and all others are the servants. All of the Sampradayas teach that, and Lord Shiva also teaches that. Yes, Lord Shiva is a demigod, but he's a pure devotee. He's a pure devotee. Not all the demigods are pure devotees, but Lord Shiva is. He's a great Vaishnava. And he teaches the worship of Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva told his wife, chant the name of Lord Ram, because the name of Lord Rama is equal to 1,000 names of Vishnu. So Lord Shiva gave a lot of instructions to worship the Supreme Lord. It was Lord Shiva who said, Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnor aradhanam param. Of all kinds of worship, the worship of Vishnu is the highest. And even better than the worship of Vishnu is the worship of those things in relation to Vishnu. So Lord Shiva is a great devotee. He's a pure devotee. And he's a demigod. And he's a Vaishnava. Yes, Prabhu?
This verse in Bhagavatam Savaikumsam Parodharma, that verse is actually indicating which level of bhakti.
Indicating what?
Which level of bhakti?
Oh. There's the verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Savaipum Samparodharmo Yato Bhaktir Hoksajay Ahaitaki Apratiyata Yayatma Supersidasi. The supreme occupation for all humanity to attain is loving service unto the Supreme Lord. Such service should be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So Prabhu is asking, what level of bhakti is this? Well, that is the highest level of bhakti. Right? But ahaituki apratihata, that one should worship the Lord without motivation, and it should be constant, continuous, uninterrupted, and without any material motivation. Prabhupada would say, devotional service means finish up your business. Business means I will get something. You give the goods, you get paid. You do the service, you get paid. That's business. But Prabhupada said devotional service is no more business. We just do service without anything in return.
Is it like prema, bhava or sadhana?
Yeah, well, that's going to depend on the devotee, how they engage. If they're engaged ahaitakiya pratiyata, if they're working uninterrupted and without motivation, then it will be prema bhakti. It can be prema. Or bhava and prema. Bhava is the beginning of prema. But it's all pure devotion. Even if it's sadhana, some pure devotees are doing sadhana bhakti. Not everybody has bhava bhakti or prema bhakti. That's a special gift from some devotee. But sadhana bhakti is also pure devotion. Maharaj Ambarish is the sadhana bhakta. We don't really distinguish who's a bhava bhakta, who's a prema bhakta. Prema bhakta is a special mercy, special something which is given by the mercy of a devotee somehow. You get that prema bhakti. But it's all pure devotion. What we're interested in is pure devotion, whether it's sadhana or bhava or prema. Bhava bhakti is described in the Nectar of Devotion. There are 9 different characteristics of bhava bhakti. Okay, 9 o'clock, we will stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.